What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the first episode of the Talkin Balls podcast. So this podcast, I want to really incorporate a mix of everything. So football, basketball, baseball, kind of talk about everything going on in the sports world, whatever is really intriguing me at the moment, whatever is all over social media. That's kind of the topics I want to get into and really dive deep into. But first, I want to do something a little fun. So I'm big into fantasy football. So I want to do a fantasy mock draft, kind of walk you through my ideas when I'm going through these draft picks and kind of what I look for and a little tips that I try to focus on while in my draft that try to help me separate from all my opponents. So in this league, I'm in a non PPR draft, which means you don't get points per receptions. So receivers aren't as valuable, tight ends aren't as valuable. You're mostly looking for players that score touchdowns. So again, running backs and then receivers who are big red zone threats are some are the people you really want to focus on. So I have all the draft settings already set up, and so I'm going to randomize my draft position right here and set up my pick clock for 45 seconds per pick. So I have a little bit of time to talk through it, but again, it's still pretty fast paced. So right here, it looks like I'm gonna get the eighth pick. Okay, I like the eighth pick. I like usually drafting towards the end of the first round. It allows me to get some good talent, but also get another draft pick right away to try to maximize that talent. So off the board, we already have McCaffrey, Tyreek, CD, Jefferson, Chase, Amon-Ra, and Bijan. Okay, Bijan is someone I was really looking forward to hopefully getting. Again, Brees Hall and that Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers back, I think would be pretty good. Let's look at the receivers still available. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson. Okay, obviously all the tight ends are still available. I'm gonna go Brees Hall right here. Being that Jets offense, I think is gonna be pretty valuable for him. With Aaron Rodgers being back, they got some weapons on the outside. I think Brees Hall will have a lot more open lanes this year compared to last year. Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, receivers. I'm gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs here. Jonathan Taylor, I think he's gonna have a great year, but I also always tend to shy away from running backs that are in offenses with rushing quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson, because I think every couple weeks he's gonna take a touchdown or two here and there, and I think that really hurts Jonathan Taylor's value. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs really showed a breakout, especially in the playoffs last year, where I think going to take even more of that role away from David Montgomery. Isaiah Pacheco still be on the board here really does excite me. I think he's going to be very featured in this Kansas City Chiefs offense. So I'm actually going to most likely take a risk right here and go with the three running back strategy. Again, it's a non-PPR draft. I think running backs are extremely valuable. Having depth there, especially as the towards the fantasy playoffs come around, being able to make trades before if other running backs are hurt, or even if your own running backs are hurt, having that depth right there, I think is just so important. You always can find a receiver on the waiver wires that potentially could score a touchdown. It's really hard to find running backs that have that same opportunity. Let's go Pacheco. But now I'm definitely looking towards getting a receiver, or if there's a high-level tight end still available. So Sam Laporta somehow still being available in the fourth round, I think is a very big steal. So I'm going to go Sam Laporta. I think there's no questions about it right there. I mean, you can't really argue with Travis Kelce right there as well. But Sam Laporta being available, I think, is an amazing draft pick. Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore. DJ Moore just signed a big contract extension. I believe it was yesterday. I think, is a little bit more consistent than someone like a Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is more of a big play threat type of guy. Might get you 25 points one week, but might get you 3 or 4 the next week. DJ Moore, Caleb Williams in that offense does a little bit scare me. I think he could go through some rough patches. Again, he's in Chicago. Team overall is all right. Offensive line is a little questionable. I think I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. Even someone like a Devontae Smith really excites me as well. Let's go Jalen Waddle. Maybe Devontae Smith will still be on the board. Or DJ Moore still be on the board. Let's try to check on these quarterbacks. Again, in this league, it's a 6-point per passing touchdown and rushing touchdown. So I would say that rushing quarterbacks aren't as valuable as they would in other leagues because the rushing and passing touchdowns are exactly the same. So I think I'm going to stick to drafting receivers right here. Draft my quarterback a little bit later if I had to sell for someone like a Jordan Love. Maybe even a Dak Prescott. I wouldn't be too mad at that. But I'm going to go get DJ Moore. I went and got a big play threat receiver guy in Jalen Waddle, so I want to get someone who's going to consistently, hopefully, get me 8 to 9 to 10 points per week. And sound like a DJ Moore. Okay, see what quarterbacks are on the board now. Okay, yeah, so a lot of the quarterbacks went off the board recently. CJ Stroud just went with the pick before me. Someone I really like to get. I'm gonna go Jordan Love here. He was all right last year in fantasy. He started out really hot, and then he had a lot of down weeks as they feature the run game a lot more. And they do have Josh Jacobs now, which they could lean on him a little bit, but I think Jordan Love's really gonna have a great year. I trust him more than someone like a Kyler Murray. And I think Kyler Murray can score a lot of touchdowns late because they don't think they'll be in a lot of close games, especially with having Marvin Harrison now. I'm leaning towards Jordan Love as a safe pick right here. Now I'm looking to hopefully get some more running back depth. So like Ezekiel Elliott, Javonte Williams. I heard Javonte Williams was going to running back by committee. He may not even make the roster. I'm not sure how true those reports are. But I wouldn't be mad at an Ezekiel Elliott. He's someone who probably can score a couple touchdowns here and there. I think Dallas will try to get him some touchdowns when they can. Goal line threat. On any given week, if I need to play someone, hopefully he'll score a touchdown for me if some running backs get injured that week. I wouldn't be mad at an Ezekiel Elliott, so most I can go there. But I'm trying to look here. George Pickens is also very interesting. Again, he's going to have a better quarterback throwing to him this year than a Kenny Pickett. So I'm actually going to switch my mind. Malik Neighbors also. So, last minute decision right there, but I went with Malik Neighbors. I saw some clips on Twitter, and I've been hearing that the Giants absolutely love that rookie receiver. Again, it's the Giants offense, but again, it's a rookie receiver. You never really know exactly what you don't know exactly what you're getting. So again, take a flyer, pick on him. Jerome Ford is very interesting for the Cleveland Browns. I know he's going to be the running back starter for the first maybe even a month or two of the season as Nick Chubb recovers from that horrific knee injury he suffered. And I wouldn't be mad. I think I'm going to take Jerome Ford here. Again, him being a starter for a couple weeks allows me to maybe trade him as he gains value and people don't realize that Nick Chubb is coming back. So I'm definitely going to go him right there. Hopefully Zach Charbonnet, okay, he's going to be on the board still. I think he'd be a great running back. Kenneth Walker has shown that he can't stay healthy all the time. And Zach Charbonnet is someone, even last year when Kenneth Walker was playing, a lot of the snaps, Zach Charbonnet was still able to get in there. And I think he impressed Pete Carroll. Okay. I'm looking to get some more receiver depth now. Let's see, I'm going to move my face out the way so I can look at my team. Okay. Yeah, so I got some running back depth. I would like to get some more receiver depth now. Let's look at this. Jackson, okay. Brian Thomas. I'm going to go something like a Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know his quarterback, Geno Smith's going to start throwing that ball a lot more. We have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett taking a lot of those targets away. I think Jackson Smith's going to have a potential breakout season. Again, I'm just trying to draft people with a balance of a high floor, but also a high ceiling as well. Let's look at who's available. Tyler Algier. I'm going to draft Tyler Algier. I'm going to stay away from Kendra Miller. I've been following Saints training camp heavily as a Saints fan. I know he just got injured again. Dennis Allen, was not very happy with him. Talking about he might not even make the roster. I don't know if I'd go that far. But Kendra Miller seems like he can't stay healthy. He's probably third on the depth chart in running backs. Let's go Tyler Algier right here. Brandon Cooks, Josh Palmer, Romeo Doubs, okay. Gabe Davis. Let's go Brandon Cooks right here. Again, a great offense to throw the ball in. They're always going to be trying to run up the score, it seems like, on teams. I'm looking at tight end just to see what is available from round 14. So defense is probably on the table for next round. Balance of 3 and 3. I'd like to go maybe probably another running back. So like an Elijah Mitchell, I really wouldn't be mad at. Again, if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, he's probably the next guy up in line. Yeah. Looking right here, looks like the Niners defense went off the board already a couple rounds ago. Yeah. Let's go Ravens defense. You really can't complain there again. I like to look at the schedules for defenses, but when you're getting the best defense overall, I think it's going to balance out throughout the season. I think Ravens, Niners, Jets, you really can't really complain about the matchups there. You got to just play them each and every week, I would say. Let's get a kicker right here. Let's get Justin Tucker. Best in the league, you don't really got to think too much about drafting a kicker. It's really hit or miss with these kickers. You never really know on any given week who is going to really step up. So now I would like to get another flyer on a receiver. Let's look at these receivers down on the depth chart. Okay. Receivers, let's show more. down. Okay, so I'm looking for some young receivers that could potentially have some high potential right here. None of these guys are. Jermaine Burton could be interesting. Let's go with Jermaine Burton. I've seen a lot of clips of him in the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, he has a lot of targets to try to. A lot of people to try to get some targets from. But I don't think it's the last round of the draft. I don't think you can go wrong there. Perfect. A minus. Okay. Um, let's look at what they're saying. Okay. Move this down. Pick. Okay. Looking at the teams right here. Honestly, I'm really liking my starting lineup right here. Let's just look at it all actually with everyone else's team. So again, having the 8th pick of the draft, I was really happy with it. I like drafting from that position. Again, I got 2 quality running backs right out the gate: Brees Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm even able to scoop up Isaiah Pacheco with that long curve going back to the 3rd round. So my starting lineup, those 3 running backs, Laporta, Waddle, and DJ as the receivers, and then Jordan Love as the quarterback. I think it's a phenomenal starting lineup. And even my bench offers some high-end upside with Malik Neighbors, Zach Charbonnet, even Jackson Smith, Jerome Ford. So if one of those 3 running backs gets hurt out the gate, that's someone who could really go in there for the first maybe month or 2 of the season and be a plug-and-play guy that can score maybe a touchdown a game, maybe 40, 50 yards at least. And then I got some good premier handcuff running backs. Zach Charbonnet is one of them. Algier and Elijah Mitchell. They're one injury away from being a high workhorse running back that can score high-end fantasy points per game. And then I have some safe guys like Brandon Cooks right there. And then basically kind of just Brandon Cooks is a really safe guy. Again, I wouldn't want to play him, be my first option, but if I had to, he's going to get some targets per week and have a chance at scoring a touchdown. Jermaine Burns, also another big flyer I took on. Again, I probably had to take an injury from probably like a T. Higgins for him to get serious targets and serious looks to be a starter on any given week. But again, it's someone in the last round that you really can't complain on taking a chance on. Next thing I want to talk about is Team USA's victory yesterday against South Sudan. So we know they played about 2 weeks ago in an expedition game, and it was a close game coming right down to the wire. I believe it was 101. 100 was the final score. Team USA barely pulling away at the end on a clutch LeBron James shot. But yesterday, they faced off again in an actual group play. The winner was going to advance to the quarterfinals, and Team USA really, frankly, handled business well. This game was never really close. South Sudan, the first quarter, tried to make a little comeback, but it was never really close. Once Kevin Durant went in there, it was just the Team USA bench group compared to South Sudan. That's what really separated this game. South Sudan on the offensive end with their starters was able to try to hold on a little bit, but once the bench group got in there, it really was over from there. So kind of recapping the big players from the game, I think Derek White played phenomenal. Coming off the bench, he was a big spark plug. He scored 10 points and was able to facilitate the ball well, but also had some phenomenal defensive plays. I counted at least 2 times where in the backcourt, South Sudan was going in transition. Derek White ran up from behind, stole the ball, and just completely eliminated their transition opportunities. Led to fast breaks for Team USA. He also had a really good block in transition as well. He was just really, really good off the bench, and I think that's someone that Steve Kerr really loves. I think he's kind of shown on the world stage that Derek White belongs there, and people were giving him a hard time in the media for picking him over like someone like a Jaylen Brown or anyone else. But I think those type of players that you need on Team USA, someone who's not going to demand the ball, but once they pass it to him, open catch and shoot threes, he's knocking them down consistently. Let's look at what he shot today. He shot 3 of 3 from 3 today. You really can't complain. He made all of his shots today. 3 steals, 1 block, and 1 rebound and an assist. He was just phenomenal on the court. And you really couldn't ask for much more from him. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, as usual, was very good. Bam Adebayo was also really good as well. He shot 2 of 3 from 3, 8 of 10 from the floor. If Bam Adebayo can really stretch the floor like he does in Team USA and the regular season, the NBA, and even in the playoffs, I think he can be a completely different player and something the Miami Heat really need. He's really impressed me in Team USA. When him and Anthony Davis were on the floor together, that combination has been deadly for Team USA. And we'll see, like Joel Embiid didn't play today, but the combination of switching out between Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo was phenomenal for Team USA. Joel kind of demands the ball, and he's a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong, but in a setting with all these all-star type of players, Joel Embiid kind of struggles to find his own and how to work itself in with a bunch of other All NBA, All-Star caliber type of players. Drew Holiday, pretty good game again. Drew Holiday didn't play as much. They actually went and let Tyrese Halliburton get some play today. He hit 2 quick threes as soon as he came in, which I thought was really phenomenal. But not playing probably 3 or 4 games in a row and then coming in and being ready. That's someone that you could tell is really locked in on being focused for each and every game. And I think that's really props to him right there. Second last thing I want to get into before I get out of here is kind of going to this Bleacher Report article of top rookies heading into the preseason and kind of the buzz around them. So right here we have Brock Bowers already ahead of the curve. I think this is something that a lot of people shouldn't be surprised with. Brock Bowers coming out of Georgia was phenomenal. He seemed like a ready now talent, and it was just kind of the medicals making sure his ankle was all healed up and just being in the right situation. I think in Vegas is a good situation. He's not going to come in and have to be on a playoff contender right away. But it's something that he can develop there. They have young players there. And he's not going to have too much pressure to have to go be a number one guy now and compete in a lot of high leverage games. Next, Baker Mayfield breaks down difference in new Buccaneers offense. Baker Mayfield re-signing with the Bucs this offseason on a long-term deal, which I was really happy to see for Baker Mayfield. He's been kind of bouncing around, questions if he would still be in the league. But I think he really found a place in Tampa Bay. He was really good for him last year. I think a lot of people counted them out to win the division in a lackluster division, but nevertheless, he earned it, and they competed very well in a playoff game as well. So I'm really excited to see what Baker Mayfield can do for this year. Will Indianapolis Colts dip into free agent safety pool? Again, the Colts secondary is all right. They've lost some pieces in that secondary, and they are very young. I could see them adding a couple of pieces there. Because their offensive skill is phenomenal. They have a young second-year quarterback now coming in. I think their defense could be that next piece to elevating them to a high-caliber playoff team. Again, they're playing at teams like the Texans, Jags, with young quarterbacks there. That you're gonna need a lot of good defensive players and able to try to stop them. New England Patriots secure long-term plans along defensive interior. It seems like a lot of the Patriots' plans the last couple of years have been re-signing their own players, which I think is a smart move by them. They're trying to keep homegrown talent, build real chemistry with this team, and build a foundation to build off of with Jerome Mayo as the head coach now. They just re-signed Jabril Peppers, I believe, like this week. They're bringing in Drake May, obviously, from North Carolina, trying to bring in some young pieces to help him out. I think it's a couple more years so the Patriots are really competitive again. But I like the future that they have right now. So the next one is Keenan Allen could be the next Bears receiver getting a contract extension. So like I said, DJ Moore got a contract extension yesterday, over $100 million, 80+ guaranteed. I think that's phenomenal for the Chicago Bears. They just got a young rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. They have some centerpieces of receivers around him and DJ Moore. Keenan Allen now, you got to lock them down long term, allow Caleb Williams to progress and develop with these star level receivers. I think it's only going to speed up his progress in the NFL and really speed up how fast he's able to learn NFL defenses and succeed at a high level. Bo Nix impresses, takes control of the Denver Broncos offense. I frankly am not very surprised with this. They really wanted to go after and get Bo Nix. That was their high priority for them, drafting him in the first round when a lot of mock drafts didn't have him going there. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton really thinks this is their guy and wants to start him out early. I think Bo Nix has a lot of potential. I think he comes in ready now with a lot of his talent already set in stone. He has someone like a Cortland Sutton to try another person to go up, catch him hard passes. He has Troy Franklin out of Oregon as well. Another big body receiver that Bo Nix likes to throw the ball to. Again, there's going to be a lot of growing pains, I think, with him. He sometimes makes some bad decisions. A lot of people are saying he likes to check the ball down a lot, not a much of being able to read the defenses as well. But I think that's something Sean Payton can really teach. I think Sean Payton is a great offensive-minded coach. As a whole, I don't know how great he is as a head coach, winning high-level, high-pressure games. He has that one Super Bowl, but in other situations after that, he's been kind of questionable. But I think he can really help develop Bo Nix. I think he's someone who can help quarterbacks reach a very high potential, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Nix is another one of them. Next one I'll go to is a playoff predictor. So I kind of almost want to go through week one of the NFL season. Let's reset the. I want to go through week one and kind of predict who I think is going to win from now. Again, today's August 1st, long ways away. We have a Hall of Fame game today, Bears versus Texans. Again, no starters are going to play, but it's kind of interesting. At least we got some football back a little over a month away until the start of the regular season. So the first game I want to talk about is Ravens-Chiefs. I think, again, it's a rematch of the AFC Championship game. Ravens made a lot of mistakes when they should have and ultimately beat the Chiefs. Zay Flowers fumbling, some of Lamar interceptions. But again, I think the Chiefs are just too good. Against a regular season game, so you don't know how serious the Chiefs are going to take it. It seems like they lost to the Lions in week one last year. Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs here. I think the Ravens are just not on that same caliber of level, winning high-level games as Kansas City Chiefs. Next, we got Bengals, Patriots. I think it's going to be Bengals pretty easily right here. I think the Patriots are going to try to stick around a lot from the first half. I think Joe Burrow coming back, first game of the season. I think the Bengals will handle that one pretty decisively. Next, we got Jaguars, Dolphins. I think this is pretty interesting. It's going to be in Miami. Again, they're both in Florida, but in Miami. I'm going to go Dolphins in this one. Jags, I'm not too high on them. I think Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good NFL quarterback, but he's not elite yet. I think the Dolphins all around, offensive and defensively, got high-level playmakers around the board. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane out the backfield, Raheem Mostert. I think you can't really count out the Dolphins. I think they could be very dangerous in a regular season type of games. Again, in playoffs, I think when teams have a whole week to really scheme on you, show you everything they've been planning to use against you, I think that's when the Dolphins struggle. Next, let's go Texans, Colts. I'm going to go, what's this called? Division game, out the gate, Texans, Colts. I'm going to go Texans right here. I think it's going to be close. Again, the Colts lost a close game last year against the Texans to go to the playoffs, a win-and-go-win game. Running back dropped the pass right out the backfield. That was a little behind him by Gardner Minshew to ultimately win the game. So I'm going to go Texans right there. Next, we got Raiders, Chargers. Another good one right here. We saw some news that Justin Herbert also is going to miss weeks with the plantar fascia injury in his foot, which can be scary. They say he's going to be in a walking boot for at least 2 weeks. And then after that, they're going to slowly try to progress him back by hopes of being ready for the regular season. So that's something I might probably revisit closer to when week one is, because if Justin Herbert's not going to complete changes this, I'll take the Raiders. But assuming Justin Herbert does play, I'm going to go with the Chargers here. Again, I think it's going to be a close game because I think, again, division game, Raiders seem to always play their division opponents really well. But I'm going to go Chargers here, assuming Justin Herbert does play. So, again, we got some AFC, NFC matchups right here. Caleb Williams' debut versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go Titans here. Again, Caleb Williams' first game, I think he's going to be a little nervous coming out the gates. I think the Titans are going to be able to plan against Caleb Williams and really make him struggle, at least for the first half against that game. I don't think the Bears are going to have enough time and opportunities and able to come back against the Tennessee Titans. I think that's going to be an upset right there. Next, we got Steelers, Falcons. I'm going to go Falcons. We got Kirk Cousins' debut right here. I think he's going to be phenomenal. He has a lot of receivers, Kyle Pitts, Drake London to get the ball to, Bijan Robinson out the backfield. I think if Kirk Cousins can really unlock these playmakers, the Atlanta Falcons are in the driver's seat to probably win that division right there. Next, we got Cardinals, Bills. I don't think it's really a question. I don't think we really talk about it very much. Cardinals are just really undermanned and under-talented compared to the Buffalo Bills. We got Broncos, Seahawks right here. Again, I think it's a pretty easy one. Again, I think it's the Seahawks will take this one. Again, Bo Nix probably being the starter for the Denver Broncos. I don't really want to bet on him to win his first NFL game against a pretty good Seahawks defense and someone that can definitely score a lot of points. Next, we have a really, really good one. We have Cowboys, Browns. Deshaun Watson, first game of the season. I'm going to go Cowboys right here. I'm assuming they get everything situated with CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. They'll both be good to go for the regular season. And I just don't want bet on Deshaun Watson. He didn't look right last year, and I think I have to see it to believe it with him. I'm hoping he does succeed again. I don't condone anything he's done off the field, but I think the on the field talent and everything he's shown, I think he's a phenomenal NFL quarterback when he's playing to the best of his ability. Great Monday Night Football game right here. We have Jets, Niners. Aaron Rodgers' first game back again in his hometown against the San Francisco 49ers. That place is going to be buzzing there. But I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think you can bet against them at home to start the season. I think that defense, both defenses are going to be electric. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to struggle early on, getting back into rhythm, playing in a real NFL game. And I think they say he's not going to play any preseason games, so it's going to be his first real action since his injury against the Bills last year. Next, we got Packers, Eagles right here. This game is in Brazil, so no really home field advantage at all. This is a great game with two NFC powerhouses right here. Then these two and the Niners are probably the teams to beat in the NFC going into it. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers right here. I think Jordan Love's going to come out really firing right here. The young receivers show up. Josh Jacobs has a nice game. And I think they win a very, very narrow one against the Philadelphia Eagles. Next, we got the Panthers and Saints. It's a close one, a division rival game in New Orleans, though. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints. I think Derek Carr and them have to win this game. Again, it's a lot easier a matchup. You got to win those 2 games against the Carolina Panthers every year if you want a real chance at being division champs. If you're not beating those easier teams, the division record at the end of the year where those tiebreakers really come into play are really going to hurt the Saints. Next, we got Vikings, Giants. Two teams that I think are really going to struggle this year. Again, no Kirk Cousins for the Vikings now. J.J. McCarthy has been struggling in training camp. With the Giants, you don't really know their situation. Daniel Jones at the helm. I'm going to go with the New York Giants based on I think they have more overall talent than the Minnesota Vikings. Again, the Minnesota Vikings do have Justin Jefferson and young receivers. But I think overall, offensive and defensive, I'm going to take the New York Giants. But I think this game's really just a coin flip. I think it's one of the games I'm going to not be watching very much when it comes to week 1. Next, we have the Commanders, Buccaneers, Jaden Daniels, first game if he's starting. I'm going to go Bucs here, though. Baker Mayfield, them. I think they're really going to give whoever's at the helm for the Washington Commanders some fits. Lastly, we got the Rams, Lions. Again, a rematch of the wild card game from last year. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. Lions narrowly beat the Rams last year to advance. I think I have the Rams coming back, getting some revenge against the Detroit Lions this year. I think the Rams are going to come out very aggressive and very motivated to beat the Detroit Lions, not letting Jared Goff beat them again to start the season. So that's all I got today for the first episode of the Talkin Balls podcast. But there's definitely going to be a lot more of these in the upcoming weeks, especially as the Olympics keeps getting going. I'm really big into track and field, so I might get some updates with the track and field and the medal counts. Team USA is down right now compared to a bunch of other countries, China, France, I think Japan as well in the gold medal countings. That's really what you go off. We don't really go off of total medal countings. But it should be really interesting. I think Team USA is really going to make a big comeback, and this is where they kind of gain most of the momentum is in the track and field. They still have USA basketball for both the men's and women's to hopefully win gold. So that should be very interesting as the track and field heats up and comes to a close in the next week or two. And then baseball is going to be heating up more towards the playoffs. NBA season really in the off season, so not too much NBA to discuss unless some big trade ends up happening. But NFL is just going to keep rolling off forward. We got preseason starting the next couple of weeks. Hall of Fame game today. So stay tuned for a lot more. Peace.